Close your eyes and picture the warmest, brightest summer day. You can feel the golden heat on your skin and see the bright blue sky stretching out above you. Now imagine someone turns off the sun exactly like a light switch. The blue sky instantly fades to pitch black, and a sharp, freezing cold rushes in. Out in the deepest, quietest parts of space, this endless, freezing night is totally normal. There are massive, shadowy worlds hiding out there in the dark, far away from any comforting light. Scientists call these hidden wanderers rogue planets. These are giant planets that don't orbit stars. They simply drift through the empty blackness, completely and utterly alone. This is a giant cosmic mystery that has amazed scientists all over the world. For a very long time, we thought every single world needed a sun to belong to. Think about our own home, planet Earth. Earth is locked in a big, invisible circle around our bright sun. The sun gives us light to see, heat to stay alive, and gravity to keep us safely close to home. But these lost worlds have none of those things. How does a huge, heavy planet end up all by itself in the middle of nowhere? The story usually starts when a star is brand new. A young solar system is like a very crowded, wildly spinning dance floor. Giant balls of rock and swirling gas are zooming around at super-fast speeds. Everything is bumping, crashing, and pulling on everything else in a huge cosmic traffic jam. Gravity acts like a giant, invisible rubber band connecting all these new worlds together. Sometimes, two massive planets swing way too close to each other in the dark. The invisible rubber band of gravity stretches too far, and it snaps. One planet gets pulled safely close to the star, while the other gets kicked incredibly hard in the exact opposite direction. Zap! The kicked planet goes flying right out of its neighborhood. It zooms past its brother and sister planets for the very last time. As it flies away, its bright sun gets smaller and smaller in the sky. The sun shrinks into a tiny glowing dot and then fades completely into the black background. The lonely drift has officially begun. What happens to a huge world when the lights go out forever? Without a star to warm it, the surface of the runaway planet freezes solid very quickly. If it had wild, splashing oceans of water, they turn into miles of hard, thick ice. Even the air itself might freeze and fall to the ground like a strange, white blanket of snow. It becomes a silent, frozen ghost ship sailing endlessly through the galaxy. If you stood on the thick ice of a rogue planet, you would not see a bright sunrise or a colorful sunset. The sky would be permanently black, filled with millions of hard, bright stars that never twinkle. The ground beneath your feet would be harder than rock, frozen solid by temperatures hundreds of degrees below zero. It would be the quietest place you could ever imagine, with no wind, no rain, and perfect cosmic silence. But hold on, because the story of these dark worlds gets even more amazing. The freezing, silent dark might just be a clever disguise. Deep down inside, the planet might still have a beating heart of hot fire. When rocky worlds are first built, they trap a huge amount of heat right in the middle of their cores. This works exactly like a giant cosmic thermos. The thick shell of ice on the outside keeps the deep heat safely trapped on the inside. Far below the miles of ice, hot melted rock and underwater volcanoes might still rumble and shake. This deep heat could melt the very bottom of the ice, creating a massive, hidden ocean. This means liquid water could exist in the pitch black, totally hidden from the rest of the universe. This idea is challenging our understanding of where life can actually survive. Imagine tiny, strange creatures swimming in that warm, dark, hidden sea. They would have no eyes, because there is absolutely no light to see with down there. They would gather around hot, bubbling underwater volcanoes to stay warm and find food. Their whole universe would be a dark, warm bubble trapped under a heavy roof of ice. They would never know what a star is, or what the huge galaxy outside looks like. You might not need a bright sun to have a living, breathing world after all. Now, getting kicked out of a solar system is just one way to become a rogue. Some of these lonely wanderers never had a star to begin with. Deep space is not totally empty like a vacuum. It is filled with giant swirling clouds of cold dust and colorful gas called nebulas. Sometimes, a small clump of this cosmic dust starts to pull together. Gravity squeezes the dusty clump tighter and tighter, like hands packing a snowball. Usually, this squeezing makes the gas so hot that it bursts into a brilliant burning star. But what if the dust clump is just a little too small? It never catches fire, and it never lights up the dark. It just forms a big, round, heavy ball of gas, kind of like the planet Jupiter. It is born in the dark, and it stays in the dark forever. These are worlds that were almost stars, but just missed their chance to shine. This brings up a huge puzzle for the scientists back on Earth. If these planets give off no light and reflect no sun, how do we even know they are out there? Trying to find a completely dark planet in the darkness of space is like trying to find a single black piece of sand on a dark beach at midnight. Astronomers have to use a brilliant magic trick of gravity to spot them. This clever trick is called gravitational microlensing. It sounds like a big science word, but it works exactly like a simple magnifying glass you use to look at tiny bugs. Imagine you are looking through a giant telescope at a very bright faraway star. Suddenly, an invisible rogue planet floats right in the middle, straight between Earth and that bright star. The heavy weight of the dark planet actually bends the empty space around it. This curved space catches the light from the faraway star and bends it too. For just a few days, the faraway star suddenly flashes and looks much, much brighter. Then, as the dark planet keeps drifting away, the star goes back to looking totally normal. That quick, bright flash of light is a secret message sent across the galaxy. It tells scientists that a hidden world just passed by like an invisible ghost. Telescopes on Earth and in space stare at millions of stars at the exact same time. Computers watch these stars day and night, waiting for just one tiny change in brightness. It takes immense patience, and scientists might wait years just to catch one single flash. When astronomers first saw this flash, they were completely amazed. They thought finding a lost planet was a very rare, lucky accident that hardly ever happened. But as they kept watching the night sky, they saw more flashes, and then even more. Our universe has been expanding for 13.8 billion years, and it has had plenty of time to scatter worlds everywhere. Now, scientists think there are billions of them drifting out there. There might actually be more planets wandering all alone than there are stars shining in the whole sky. Imagine looking up at the night sky from your backyard. For every twinkling star you see, there could be a dozen invisible worlds floating quietly in the dark gaps between them. Our galaxy is swarming with planetary systems that fell apart long ago. This totally changes how we think about the giant cosmos. We used to think space was very neat and organized, with everything staying in its proper place. We thought planets always stayed safely near their suns, like cars driving on a perfectly paved road. But the universe is wild, messy, and full of giant surprises. Worlds are getting kicked out of their homes and sent flying into the void. Giant balls of gas are forming quietly in the freezing shadows, and warm, hidden oceans might be hiding life in places we never thought possible. The dark, empty spaces between the stars are not really empty at all. They are completely filled with lost worlds just waiting for us to find them.